And who do you currently reside there with?
Ted West and Kevin.
Kevin West?
Yes.
And how long have you lived there with Kevin West?
I don't know the approximate date, but probably 5 months or 6 months.
And what is the current, well, are you and Kevin West in a romantic relationship?
Yes.
And what is the current state of your relationship?
We're engaged.
When did you first meet Kevin West?
Probably, I don't know the exact date, but it was over 20 years ago was the first time, probably 2004.
Okay. And how was it that you met?
I was a volunteer firefighter with Washougal, and he was a paramedic with Camas.
Okay. And was he married to Marcy West at the time?
Yes.
Did your relationship with Kevin West eventually turn into a sexual relationship?
Yes, briefly.
How soon after meeting?
Probably I don't know the exact date, maybe a year or 6 months. I don't know.
And how long did that first relationship last?
It was brief, maybe a couple months.
Did the two of you reconnect in 2023?
Yes.
And how was that occurred?
He messaged me.
On what?
Facebook.
Facebook Messenger?
Yes.
And what did he say when you messaged him?
I don't know the exact words, but it was, "Hi, is this Cynthia from Washougal that I knew back in the day?" I don't know exact words. It was very brief and just said, "How are you?"
And after he reached out to you on Facebook Messenger, did the two of you start communicating regularly?
I would say regularly, yeah.
How often would you communicate?
In the beginning, maybe once a week or every few weeks, and then it progressed.
When did you start communicating more frequently?
A couple months or a month, maybe.
Okay. And how were you communicating?
Text messaging.
Just regular text messaging?
No, on an app.
What sort of app?
WhatsApp.
And what is WhatsApp?
It is just a different type of way to message, text messaging or calling.
Is it end-to-end encryption?
I don't think so, no.
Why would you use WhatsApp and not regular text messaging or Facebook Messenger?
I think for protection from, I was in a relationship at the time, and he would take my phone, or I assumed he took my phone, and it was easy to delete and not have it in my call history.
And did the two of you eventually decide to meet up in person?
Yes.
When was that?
I don't have the date, but it was months later.
So October, November?
Tried to answer that question, and I'm not sure on the exact date.
Where did you meet up?
The first time we met in a hotel, just to be out of the public eye.
Okay. And where was that?
It was off Airport Way. I don't remember the hotel. I'm sorry.
Between the time you first met in person at that hotel and Marcy's death, how many times did you see Kevin West in person?
I don't know. I don't have how many times we met. I'm sorry.
More than 10?
Yes.
More than 20?
Yes.
More than 30?
I don't know.
And we're talking about a period from October to the beginning of January?
Oh, yeah, again, I don't know the date that we met the first time, but it's really hard for me to answer, even if it was 20 times.
And how many trips did you take with Kevin between the time you met up in person and the time of Marcy's death?
I would say at least 2. that I can really remember. Maybe 3.
Can you tell us what those trips were?
I took a trip to, my mom was having medical issues. She needed a valve replaced. Sorry. And I wanted him to meet my mom.
Is your
So
mother?
that was in Nevada.
Okay, so you took Kevin to meet your mother. Is your mother Cynthia Ward?
Yeah.
Okay. And so the two of you went to Nevada? When was that?
I think November,
And how long of a trip was that?
a couple of days.
And any other trips that the two of you took?
We went to the beach.
Okay. And how long of a trip was that?
Oh, one day, 1 or 2 days.
And you recall no other trips?
Pardon?
And you recall no other trips?
Not right now.
Did you go to Hood River?
We drove through the river from, oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. We went to Goldendale. I apologize. I didn't remember that. And we drove through Hood River to come home.
Okay. Did you stay in Hood River?
No.
Did you stay in Goldendale?
Yes.
Okay. At a hotel?
Yes.
And when was that?
I'm not sure of the date.
Going to Goldendale, what was the purpose of that trip?
My sister and my brother-in-law found some property that they wanted to look at, and me and my other sister, we had kind of a plan to buy at least 20 or more acres so that we could all live together on a piece of property, and have my mom and dad live with us as well. And so they were the first ones to go through retirement, and we're going to be buying property there. Hopefully, that was one of the locations. So we went to go look at property.
Okay. So you took Kevin to go meet up with your brother-in-law and sister-in-law?
Sister.
Sister and brother-in-law.
Yes.
And is your brother-in-law Paul Person?
Yes.
And during that trip when you were looking at property, was there discussion of you and Kevin purchasing that property with Paul and, what's your sister's name?
Sandra.
With Paul and Sandra.
So mainly it was for me to purchase it, and if me and Kevin were to be together, it was an option for him to also go to Goldendale with us. But originally, the whole plan was for me, my sister, and my other sister to all buy property so we could live together.
Didn't Kevin talk with Paul about purchasing the property with him?
Right, I would be more likely the signer because I could sell my own home eventually. This was going to be like 8 to 10 years down the road. So it wasn't immediate thought process of purchasing it right away. They could have purchased the land and we, or me, could buy it or a piece of it.
Didn't Kevin ask Paul to carry the note until his divorce was finalized on the property?
I don't know what he talked to with Paul about.
You weren't involved in that?
I wasn't in the text messaging, no.
So you're not aware of any plan with Kevin and Paul to purchase that property?
It was, I don't want to say it incorrectly, there was plans that if Kevin were to, he was going to retire in 8 to 10 years or even longer, that yes, he would move with us.
Okay. Was he going to move there with Marcy?
No,
Okay. So what was the plan with Kevin and his relationship?
I don't know. I don't know.
There was no discussion of what he was going to do in his relationship?
Well, eventually he was going to leave Marcy at some point. I don't know when that would have been exactly.
So you and Kevin had discussions about him leaving Marcy?
Yeah.
How often?
Not very often. He was wanting to make sure that Marcy was available to see Megan get married, and that was in July. And she was pretty excited about that.
Okay. Did he ever discuss divorcing Marcy with you?
We had discussions, but not exact dates or anything like that.
Prior to Marcy's death, did he ever bring up wanting to marry you?
Prior, maybe in a you know, I would say yes. Yeah.
How often?
That rare.
Did he ever discuss any other future plans with you besides purchasing property in marriage?
Not that I can recall, but if you have something, I can answer to it.
Do you recall nothing else about future plans?
No, and I am a little nervous, so not that I can think of right now.
Did he introduce you to any members of his family prior to Marcy's death?
Yes.
Who?
His mom and sister,
And is his mom's name Lorna?
Lori,
Lori, okay. And where does she live?
in Eugene.
Did she come to you or did you go to Eugene?
We went to Eugene.
Okay.
I think it was on the way to Nevada, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Sorry.
Was that the only time you met his mother prior to Marcy's death?
No, I met her one other time for Kevin's birthday.
Was his birthday after or before Marcy's death?
After.
Okay. So when you went, did you go with Kevin to visit her in Eugene?
Yes.
Were you just there for the day or did you stay the night?
Stay the night.
And was any other members of his family there?
His stepfather.
And did he introduce you to them as his girlfriend?
No, just as Cynthia.
Was it apparent that the two of you were in a romantic relationship?
I don't know about romantic relationship. We didn't show romance. So I don't know how to answer that. I don't think romantic relationship.
Did they think you were just a random person coming with Kevin to the house?
Objection, no foundation. Sustained.
So you don't think they had any idea who you were?
If Kevin talked to them about me, maybe, yeah. I don't think I was just a person off the street.
And did you meet any other members of his family?
At the birthday party, there was his dad and nieces.
When was the birthday party?
It was after his birthday because there was some weather. I want to say the 20th or 23rd of January.
The January that Marcy died?
Yes.
So 2024.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Okay. And what day is Kevin's birthday?
January 18th
And where was this birthday party?
at his home.
Is that the home where Marcy died?
Yes.
And so you came to his birthday party there the 20th or the 23rd?
Somewhere around there, yes.
And who was present at that party?
I don't know exactly everyone, but what I remember is his nieces and his family, his mom, his dad, Megan, Ted, Caden. I don't remember anymore, or I can tell you if you have names if I saw them.
You mentioned Megan and Ted. Are those Kevin's children?
Yes.
And was that the first time that you met them?
I met Ted when he was a baby, but later, that was the first time I met them.
Did you ever meet Marcy?
One time.
When was that?
It was when I was a volunteer.
What were the circumstances?
They were going to marriage counseling, and I watched Ted.
So Kevin had you watch Ted while he and Marcy went to marriage counseling?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that before or after your affair? Or during?
That I don't remember.
Do you remember telling me it was after your affair?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous, so probably I was going to assume it was after the affair, but I don't remember.
Let's see here. How were you introduced to Megan and Ted at the birthday party?
As Amy's friend,
Who's Amy?
his sister.
Were you eventually introduced as Kevin's girlfriend?
Yes,
When was that?
I don't know the exact date.
Was it
A
within a week?
couple months later, maybe?
A couple of months?
I don't know. I'm gonna say I don't know, because I don't know. If you have a date, I can try to remember for you.
Did you ever? When did you start texting with Megan?
I'm not sure. She was in college still.
Was it around the time of the birthday party?
Objectives to relevance here. I don't know.
Was it at the birthday party? I'm sorry.
Was it around the time of the birthday party?
I don't know. I would think it would be after. I didn't have her number at the birthday party.
The night prior to Marcy's death, were you texting with Kevin?
I'm sorry.
The night prior to Marcy's death, were you texting with Kevin?
I did answer that, and I said I wasn't sure only because we would say goodnight. But I can't say 1,000% if I text him or he texts me that night.
At that point in time, were you speaking every day?
Yes, that's why I said I assumed it was every night.
How
Pretty
often?
much.
Okay. How often would you generally speak during the day at that point in time?
Sometimes he was at work and he couldn't, or I was at work and I couldn't, so it varied very much on how much we spoke. Some days it was a long, a lot. Some days it wasn't.
Do you remember the last time you spoke with Kevin that night?
No, I don't.
Do you recall whether you were speaking with Kevin at any point prior or between midnight and 4:30 a.m.?
No.
When did you first hear from Kevin after Marcy's death?
I texted him and said, "Good morning, how's everything?" Just kind of a normal good morning. And I didn't hear from him. So it was probably 9 o'clock in the morning when I heard something from him, and he said that she had passed and he was going to Seattle to get Megan.
And when was the first time that you went to that residence after Marcy's death?
Kevin's birthday.
The birthday party?
Yeah.
You were at Kevin's home on January 23rd when the police arrived, were you not?
Yes, I was.
You were with him in the garage?
I was.
And you stayed in the garage the whole time that he spoke with police, did you not?
Yes, when the police officers left, Kevin was taking their card, and I walked in by the bathroom into the kitchen. But that's as far, we stayed mainly in the garage.
Oh, so you're saying you came out of the garage while the police officers were still there?
No, ma'am. When they left,
Okay.
Kevin had opened the door and said, "I'm going to put this away." Yeah.
Why wouldn't you come out of the garage?
The garage was kind of a safe place. It was more Kevin's area, and we heard a knock at the door, but since we were in the garage, we didn't know it was an actual knock at the door. And then it was a big bang, and Kevin said, "Oh, I'll go check that," and I just stayed in the garage. It is set up with chairs, and it's not like a typical garage.
So he never told you that it was the police there?
He never came out. Nobody came to the garage.
He didn't have a conversation with you before leaving the garage saying, it's the police and I'm going to
We
probably
had no
tell
idea. We thought it was Chuck, the neighbor, actually. He's like, "It's probably Chuck," and answered the door. I had no idea the police were there.
Okay. And during the birthday party, what part of the house were you in?
Mainly the garage. It was just like everyone was in the garage. That was a place of gathering.
Did you ever come into the main house?
I did.
Do you remember telling me in a private interview or a prior interview that you never went into the main house, that you were only ever in the garage?
No, because I would have walked in the house even if I had to use the restroom. But I think maybe I was understanding your questioning to be that, did I hang out in the main area? I had to come through the front door, so I had to be in the house. So you're questioning, maybe I was thinking that you were saying, did we hang out continually? But no, it was in the garage mainly.
And you indicated that you're currently engaged to Kevin.
Yes.
When did Kevin propose?
September 1st,
Of what year?
2024.
And you indicated that you're currently living with Kevin and Ted.
Yes.
Who primarily supports the finances of the household?
We all do. I have a full-time job, and Kevin has retirement,
Is that his pension?
his retirement.
Is that his pension?
Ma'am, I don't know. He retired, so if it's his pension, if it goes along with retirement,
Do you recall previously telling me that he was the primary earner in the household?
no, I remember telling you that we both are, and that I am the signer on the house with Ted so he could get credit on his credit, because I have enough credit to rent the home that I'm in. He does help, but I'm the primary signer, so
So you and Ted are on the lease together?
yes, ma'am.
Nothing else, Ron.
Cross-examination. Good morning, Ms. Ward.
Morning.
You said you've been engaged since September 2024, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just about, what, a little over a year, right?
Yeah, that was because my mom was unhealthy and he wanted to live there.
Understood. Yeah, it's fair to say that at some point, you two are hoping for a life together. Isn't that accurate?
Yes.
And Megan's marriage, you said, was scheduled to be in July. That would have been July of 2023, is that right?
23, 24. Sorry.
It would have been the July after Marcy passed.
Yes, sorry.
And you might not have had specific conversations, but there was a general understanding that at least someday in the future, Kevin would get divorced.
Yes.
On the 23rd, when you remained in the garage and the police came, you say you weren't aware it was the police, right?
I was not aware.
And you thought it was the neighbor Chuck?
I did.
Did you not want to meet the neighbor Chuck?
If Kevin wanted to, I would have. I wasn't hiding in the garage. I made that pretty clear.
Okay. And the reason you didn't go in the house is because you just weren't comfortable being in the house, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Indirect.
No.
Can the witness be excused?
Yes.
I will reserve on this witness, Your Honor.
Okay, so you're free to go at this time, but you're subject to recall, so you can't remain in the courtroom. You need to keep the parties advised of how to reach you in case you need to come back for additional testimony if you're about to discuss your testimony with other potential witnesses. So we discuss that.
Thank you.
My understanding is about 5 minutes.